121. Wang Xizhi trades calligraphy for geese. During the Eastern Jin dynasty, known as the era of Wang and Ma ruling the world, the Wang family was a prestigious aristocratic clan. Many members of the Wang Dao and Wang Dun families held various government positions, though most were mediocre bureaucrats. However, among them emerged one of China's most renowned calligraphers, Wang Xizhi. From a young age, Wang Xizhi loved practicing calligraphy. It is said that even while walking, he would use his fingers to trace characters in the air. Over time, he did this so often that his clothes became worn from the habit. Through relentless practice, he reached an exceptional level of mastery in calligraphy. Due to his aristocratic background and outstanding talent, high-ranking officials in the imperial court recommended him for government positions. He served as a regional governor and later as a general of the Right Army, earning the title Wang Yujun, General Wang of the Right. Later, he was appointed as an official in Quiji Prefecture. However, he did not enjoy residing in the bustling capital. Upon seeing the picturesque landscapes of Quiji, he was deeply fond of them. Whenever he had free time, he would go on excursions with his friends. On one occasion, Wang Xizhi and his friends held a gathering at Lanting, Orchid Pavilion, in Shanin, Quiji Prefecture. They drank wine and composed poetry together. At the end of the event, Wang Xizhi spontaneously picked up a brush and wrote a piece commemorating the gathering. This became the famous preface to the Orchid Pavilion collection, Lanting Su. This work, handwritten by Wang Xizhi himself, is regarded as a treasure of Chinese calligraphy, though unfortunately, the original has been lost. The value of Wang Xizhi's calligraphy. As Wang Xizhi's calligraphy grew increasingly famous, people began treating his writings as precious treasures. One time, he visited a disciple's home, where he was warmly received. Sitting beside a brand new table, he noticed its smooth and clean surface, which inspired him to write. He asked his disciple for ink and a brush. The disciple was overjoyed and immediately brought him the materials. Wang Xizhi then wrote a few lines on the table as a keepsake before leaving. A few days later, while the disciple was away, his father entered the study and, seeing that the new table was stained with ink, used a knife to scrape off the writing. When the disciple returned, he was devastated to find Wang Xizhi's calligraphy gone and regretted it for several days. On another occasion, Wang Xizhi visited a village and saw an elderly woman selling hexagonal bamboo fans at the market. These simple, unadorned fans did not attract buyers, and the woman was growing anxious. Feeling sympathy for her, Wang Xizhi approached and said, "These fans have no decorations, so of course, they don't sell well. How about I write something on them?" The elderly woman, unaware of who he was, but touched by his kindness, handed him the fans. Wang Xizhi picked up a brush and elegantly wrote 5 characters on each fan before returning them. However, since the woman was illiterate, she found his handwriting messy and was unimpressed. Wang Xizhi reassured her. "Don't worry. Just tell the buyers that these fans bear the calligraphy of Wang Yujun." As soon as he left, the woman followed his advice. Upon hearing that the writing was Wang Xizhi's, people rushed to buy the fans, and she quickly sold out her entire basket. Exchanging calligraphy for geese. Many artists have personal hobbies. Some enjoy gardening, others like raising birds. Wang Xizhi, however, had a unique passion. He loved geese. Whenever he heard of high-quality geese, he would go to see them and sometimes purchase them for admiration. In Shanin, there was a Taoist priest who wanted Wang Xizhi to copy a volume of the Tao Te Ching for him. However, he knew that Wang Xizhi was not easily persuaded to transcribe texts. Learning of Wang Xizhi's love for white geese, the priest deliberately raised a flock of fine geese. When Wang Xizhi heard that the Taoist had beautiful geese, he eagerly went to see them. As he approached the priest's house, he saw a group of geese floating leisurely on the river, their snow-white feathers contrasting beautifully with their bright red crests. The sight was utterly captivating. He stood by the river, watching them for a long time, reluctant to leave. Finally, he sent someone to ask the priest if he would be willing to sell the geese. The Taoist smiled and said, "Since you love them so much, there's no need for payment. I'll give them all to you, But I have one request. Please transcribe a volume of scripture for me. Without hesitation, Wang Xizhi copied the Tao Te Ching for him. In return, he took the geese home, fulfilling his passion. 122. Huan Wen's northern expeditions. After Tao Can suppressed Su Jun's rebellion, the Eastern Jin dynasty temporarily entered a period of stability. However, turmoil soon erupted in the north. Following the death of Shi Hu, ruler of the later Zhao state and son of Shi Lu, internal conflicts broke out. The prominent later Zhao general Wang Meng declared himself emperor and established the state of Wei, known in history as Ran Wei. Meanwhile, Murong Huang, a noble of the Xianbei tribe, founded the former Yin state and later destroyed Ran Wei. In 352 AD, another aristocrat, Fu Jian, took advantage of the situation to seize control of Guangzhou and established the former Qin state. Huan Wen's first northern expedition. During the fall of later Zhao, General Huan Wen of the Eastern Jin submitted a memorial to Emperor Mu of Jin, the fifth emperor of the Eastern Jin, requesting permission to lead a northern expedition. Huan Wen was a highly capable military commander. While serving as the governor of Jingzhou, he had previously led an army into Shu, destroying the Changhan regime and earning great merit for the Eastern Jin. However, the Eastern Jin court was riddled with internal conflicts. Although Emperor Mu of Jin outwardly promoted Huan Wen, he also harbored suspicion toward him. Instead of approving Huan Wen's request for a northern campaign, the emperor assigned Yin Hao to lead the expedition. Yin Hao was a scholar with a reputation but no military expertise. When he led his army to Luoyang, he suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Chang forces, losing over 10,000 troops and all his supplies and weapons. Huan Wen then submitted another petition, urging the court to dismiss and punish Yin Hao. Left with no alternative, Emperor Mu of Jin removed Yin Hao from his position and granted Huan Wen command of the northern expedition. In 354 AD, Huan Wen led 40,000 troops from Jiangling and divided his forces into three routes to attack Chang'an. Fu Jian, ruler of former Qin, dispatched 50,000 troops to defend the Yao Pass. However, his army was utterly defeated by the Jin forces. Fu Jian fled back to Chang'an with only 6,000 weary and wounded soldiers, digging deep trenches to fortify his defenses. Huan Wen pressed forward triumphantly, reaching Bashang near Chang'an. Officials from surrounding counties surrendered in droves, and he issued proclamations reassuring the local population. Overjoyed, the people brought cattle and wine to the Jin camp, offering their gratitude. Since the fall of the Western Jin, northern civilians had suffered greatly from constant warfare. When they saw the Eastern Jin troops, many wept with joy, exclaiming, "We never thought we would see Jin forces again." Huan Wen planned to wait until the wheat in Guangzhou ripened, intending to harvest it to replenish his army's supplies. However, Fu Jian anticipated this strategy and ordered his men to cut down all the unripe wheat, leaving Huan Wen without any grain. Facing a critical food shortage, Huan Wen had no choice but to retreat. Nevertheless, his northern campaign was still considered a major victory, and Emperor Mu of Jin promoted him to Grand Commander of Conquests. Huan Wen's later northern expeditions. Huan Wen launched two more northern campaigns. In his final expedition, he attacked former Yin, advancing as far as Fangtu, modern-day Sun County, Hunan. However, his supply lines were cut off by the Yin forces, leading to his defeat. Huan Wen's ambitions. As Huan Wen held supreme military power in the Eastern Jin for an extended period, his ambitions grew. One day, he remarked, "If a man cannot leave a glorious legacy, then at least he should be infamous for eternity." A trusted aide, recognizing his ambitions, advised him that to strengthen his power, he should follow the example of Huguang of the Western Han dynasty, depose the emperor and install a ruler of his own choosing. At that time, Emperor Mu of Jin had already passed away, and the reigning emperor was Emperor Fei of Jin, Sima Yi, pronounced Yi. Huan Wen marched his troops to Jinkang, deposed Emperor Fei, and replaced him with Sima Yu, who became Emperor Jiangwen of Jin. Huan Wen himself became the chancellor and stationed his army in Gushu, modern-day Dangtu, Anhui. 2 years later, Emperor Jiang Wen fell gravely ill and left a decree for his crown prince, Sima Yao, to inherit the throne, becoming Emperor Xiaowu of Jin. Huan Wen had expected Emperor Jiang Wen to pass the throne to him. When he heard the news, he was deeply disappointed and marched into Jiankang with his army. On the day of his arrival, his troops wore full armor and carried gleaming weapons, creating an intimidating spectacle. When the court officials went to greet him, their faces turned pale with fear. Huan Wen then summoned two of the most influential aristocrats, Wang Tanji and Xian, to meet him at his residence. However, Wang and Xia had already heard that Huan Wen had hidden soldiers behind the guest hall, intending to assassinate them. Upon arriving at Huan Wen's residence, Wang Tanji was so terrified that cold sweat drenched his clothes. In contrast, Xian remained completely composed. After taking his seat in the hall, Xian calmly remarked, "I have heard that since ancient times, righteous generals always keep their troops at the frontier to guard against foreign enemies. Why then does Duke Huan keep soldiers hidden behind his walls?" Huan Wen, feeling a bit embarrassed, replied, "I must take some precautions." With that, he ordered his guards to withdraw the hidden soldiers. Realizing that the aristocratic families in Jiankang still opposed him, Huan Wen did not dare make a move. Shortly afterward, he fell ill and died. The aftermath. After Huan Wen's death, Xian became chancellor, while Huan Wen's younger brother, Huan Chong, was appointed governor of Jingzhou. Working together, they supported Emperor Xiaowu of Jin, fostering a period of unity and stability in the Eastern Jin court. 123. Wang Meng discusses the state of the world while picking lice. During Huan Wen's first northern expedition, while stationed at Bashang, a poorly dressed scholar came to the military camp requesting an audience with Huan Wen. Eager to recruit talented individuals, Huan Wen was pleased to receive him. This scholar was Wang Meng, who had grown up in extreme poverty, making a living by selling dustpans. Despite his hardships, he had a deep passion for learning and became highly knowledgeable. However, the aristocrats of Guangzhou looked down on him due to his humble background, but he remained indifferent to their scorn. At one point, someone offered him a minor official position in former Qin, but he refused. Instead, he chose to live in seclusion on Mount Huayin. Upon hearing that Huan Wen had entered Guangzhou, he traveled to Bashang to seek an audience with him. Huan Wen, wanting to test Wang Meng's knowledge and abilities, asked for his assessment of the political and military situation of the time. Wang Meng delivered a clear and insightful analysis of the southern and northern powers, demonstrating profound strategic understanding. Huan Wen was deeply impressed. However, while speaking, Wang Meng casually reached into his clothing and picked at lice, an act described in classical Chinese as menshur, meaning to touch lice. Huan Wen's soldiers almost burst out laughing at the sight, but Wang Meng, completely unbothered, continued his discussion with great enthusiasm. Huan Wen then asked, "I have led a great army on an imperial campaign to free the people from suffering. Yet, why do the local heroes not come to join me?" Wang Meng smiled and replied, "You have traveled thousands of miles to invade enemy territory without fear. Yet, with Chang'an so close, you hesitate to cross the Ba River. The people do not understand your true intentions, so they dare not come forward to pledge allegiance." This remark struck at the heart of Huan Wen's dilemma. The truth was, Huan Wen's northern expedition was less about defeating enemies and more about boosting his political influence within the Eastern Jin court. He deliberately delayed attacking Chang'an to conserve his strength for political maneuvering back home. Huan Wen was left speechless. Recognizing Wang Meng's remarkable talent, he repeatedly invited him to return south when the campaign ended and even offered him a high-ranking position. However, Wang Meng saw through the deep internal divisions within the Eastern Jin court and declined the invitation, choosing instead to return to Mount Huayin. Nonetheless, this lice-picking scholar had gained fame. Wang Meng becomes the most trusted advisor of Fu Jian. Afterward, when Fu Jian overthrew his cousin Fu Xing and took the throne of former Qin, he sought out capable advisors. Someone recommended Wang Meng to him. Fu Jian summoned Wang Meng, and the two instantly bonded, discussing the rise and fall of past dynasties with perfect agreement in their views. Fu Jian was ecstatic, comparing their meeting to Liu Bei finding Zhuge Liang. When Fu Jian ascended the throne, he declared himself heavenly king of Great Qin and made Wang Meng his most trusted minister. Within a year, Wang Meng was promoted 5 times, holding power greater than anyone else in the court. However, Wang Meng faced resistance from the De tribal nobles, who resented the fact that Fu Jian entrusted such power to a young Han Chinese scholar. Wang Meng was only 36 years old at the time. One of these nobles, Fan Shi, had fought alongside Fu Jian's father to conquer Guangzhou. Upon meeting Wang Meng, he furiously insulted him, saying, "We cultivated this land, and now you're here to reap the rewards for nothing." Wang Meng calmly retorted, "Not only will you farm the land, but you'll also have to cook for me." Fan Shi was enraged, declaring, "If I don't see your head hanging on the gates of Chang'an, I won't rest." A few days later, Fan Shi and Wang Meng argued again in front of Fu Jian. This time, Fan Shi tried to attack Wang Meng on the spot. Seeing this, Fu Jian lost patience and sentenced Fan Shi to death. Afterward, no other tribal nobles dared to challenge Wang Meng in front of Fu Jian. Wang Meng reforms the government and strengthens former Qin. With Fu Jian's full support, Wang Meng suppressed local warlords and reformed the administration. When he was appointed governor of Jingzhou, he immediately arrested and executed Chang De, the emperor's uncle and grand master of ceremonies, for drunken misconduct and crimes against civilians. By the time Fu Jian sent envoys to pardon Chang De, Wang Meng had already had him executed. Over the following days, more than 20 powerful aristocrats, including royal relatives and corrupt officials, were executed, punished, or removed from office. The court was shocked, and corrupt officials no longer dared to abuse their power. Fu Jian sighed in admiration, "Now I finally understand the importance of law and order in a nation." Wang Meng's final warning to Fu Jian. Under the leadership of Fu Jian and Wang Meng, former Qin grew increasingly powerful. Over the years, they defeated former Yan, Dai, and former Liang, unifying the Yellow River region. However, in 375 AD, Wang Meng fell gravely ill. Fu Jian personally visited him, but Wang Meng had one final piece of advice. Although the Eastern Jin is far away in the south, it upholds the legitimate succession of the Jin dynasty and remains internally stable. Your Majesty must never launch an attack against Jin. Our true enemies are the Xianbei and Chang tribes. If we do not eliminate them, they will forever remain a threat to our nation. This would be Wang Meng's last warning to Fu Jian, and it proved prophetic. Fu Jian ignored it, leading to the disastrous Battle of Fei River in 383 AD, where former Qin suffered a crushing defeat against the Eastern Jin.